This is the top 10 guns of Call of Duty Mobile Season 11. And since there were a bunch of buffs and nerfs, we got some things to talk about. The first of which being our number 10 spot, which is the AS Val. Now hear me out. I know there's an underground ring of cult-like AS Val fans. But between me and you, we both know it's never reached its mainstream potential. And I'm here to let people know that with its improved range, movement speed, sprint speed, and ADS movement speed, it's a viable option inside of this season. So for all those Val lovers, I'm not only excited that your favorite weapon got buffed, but that there will be more people using what you love in this season. Number 9 is actually the XPR, which has recently moved up one spot on the list. But let's talk about snipers as a whole, because the DLQ and the SVD are both super viable options in their own right. Every time I see an S&D clip, it's usually with the DLQ, some TikToker trying to make a nutty 1v5 go viral, which we both know I'm all here for. The SVD is more for the extreme tryhard, whereas there's actually two that were just recently buffed, being the ZRG and the Koshka. I think that the Koshka buff will actually be far superior than that of the ZRG, simply because you can now shoot it faster. But that's enough about the honorable mention snipers and the fact that the XPR is number 9. We gotta talk about number 8, which is the Creek. Now, has anyone here never seen this gun before? Right. Everyone knows what it does. Everyone knows what it used to do. And everyone understands that it's still usable, but not at the top. I'm glad we got over that. However, an honorable mention that I will not get over is the brand new AK-47 with its newly buffed headshot multiplier. They have been slowly nerfing this thing over the past year, and it's really coming up that assault rifle category into a league of its own. If you haven't tried it, do so. In the same honorable mention slot, we have the Holger and the Peacekeeper. I don't need to talk about them. You already know. And if you don't, Holger's a fantastic angle holder, and the Peacekeeper is a slightly more underpowered version of the M13, which is actually number 7 on our list this season, as it received countless amounts of buffs, specifically around its reloading time, where it got a 10% decrease in how long it takes to reload a mag, along with a flinch decrease, and the mag attachments for extended and large extended mag removed all reload penalties entirely. But if you've watched any of my videos over the last year, or even streams, listen, I know I haven't been streaming much recently. I'll make a significant comeback soon, I promise. You'll know that I love the double stack mag, and instead of getting a 10% decrease in reload time, it gets a 20% now. So it reloads so fast. Something that kills fast, however, medium range is both the Kilo and LK24, which are tied for that 6th place spot. I will say I do slightly like the Kilo more, but I know similarly to the AS Val, there are some crazy LK24 fanboys that I just can't leave them out. It's a good weapon. Speaking of diehards for niche guns, we've got the Cordite and the PDW in at an honorable mention. Both of these have previously been the best guns in the entire game. Many of you won't remember that the Cordite actually ran COD Mobile before Gunsmith was ever released. And then I know that 99.9% of you who are watching this will have no idea that the PDW was the best gun in the pre-season betas for Call of Duty Mobile. Just look at me hip firing dudes across the map back in the day.
Oh, go.
Dead. Behind me. Don't let me do this to you. Oh no.
Unfortunately, in at number 5 is the Graf. It was recently nerfed. It's not really significant, but it's gonna be a bump on the confidence that you'll have using it, just knowing that it's not as good as it once was. Because like I've said many times with snipers, it's all in the confidence. And that also applies to any other gun in the game. 4 is the UL. We've seen people use it in champs qualifiers, stage 4, battle royale, and even that ground war event that was recently hosted by Call of Duty Mobile themselves. It's a viable option for those long to mid ranges. To be honest, I see it as quite a quirky option as opposed to the rest of the guns on this list, which you might already know. Speaking of which, number 3 is the PP19 combined with the CBR. Both superb weapons, and since they're so similar to one another, I decided to put them in at the same spot. However, number 2, I'm actually bumping the Switchblade up because the current meta is really rewarding anyone that can rush around corners quickly and also take fights extremely close range, as opposed to those medium close engagements we're used to seeing. I think this is a direct consequence of everyone using snipers and rushing with them in S&D, because if you miss that one shot, you won't be able to get a second if you've got this Switchblade by your side. Honorable mention, of course, going to the SKS. This is actually the best gun in the game, but I would just rather you guys don't use it because it's super annoying to play against, especially if you're really good. Hold up. I know I said the SKS was the last honorable mention, but you guys need to try out the CX-9. I don't even have any gameplay of it, but I've been using it for the last 2 hours and it's insane. So here's the loadout. Check it out. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. And then lastly, of course, the number 1 gun in the game is the HVK. You tap people to the head and then subscribe to me before you go to bed.